gentlemen, it's Cricket World Cup time and my name is Malcolm as always. Welcome to Wicket Cricket. As we have seen in the past week, it's been upsets, the biggest upset. West Indies versus Ireland. I didn't think Ireland had what it takes, but hey, West Indies didn't play well, that's what happens. But what I can say is I'm really impressed with the way New Zealand, Australia got the World Cup started. That's what we expected. I think Trent Bolt, I didn't expect him to be a big factor. He is. Double strike sent the Sri Lankans packing. And as usual, I've got my friend Sabs. He's here.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Of course, yes, another week. Great week, great cricket. Looking at the great cricket this week again. Today I want to talk about the big match. You know, it's the big one. It's a heavyweight clash. It's the Proteas versus India. And all right, we just want to ask you, Malcolm, here. Of course, it's a big one. It's the Proteas and India. The Proteas were not convincing against Robert Mugabe's men. Australia absolutely thumped England.
Yeah.
Which team would you say comes in better prepared this weekend?
Look, first of all, Sabelo, let me start by saying I think a part of me is going to be upset irrespective of the results because I love these two teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously from the South African point of view, I love, obviously, it's the Proteas. I want them to do well. From a cricket point of view, I like the Indians. But I think both teams are coming into this game on level par. Okay, the reason why I say that, I think India were not that convincing against Pakistan. You know, they could have done more and they're gonna struggle. I think one thing that's working, and South Africa, I don't think they were that bad. I think it was just a matter of they're playing in New Zealand, the wickets are sticky. So I don't think any team is coming in here better than the other one. It's all equal.
Having said that, where do you think it's going to be won and lost?
I think the pitches in Melbourne are going to help the South Africans more.
Yes, of course, a lot has been said about the pitch.
Not only that, not only their bowlers, obviously you will think that bowlers will benefit more. But I think A.B. de Villiers as well said, he said that their batsmen prefer a quicker pitch, and I think this is where it's going to make a difference. Considering that, with all due respect to India, they don't have the strongest bowling lineup in the world, so that's going to be the deciding factor.
Mm-hmm. Of course, one of the headlines this week is a doubt in fitness of Dale Steyn. How big is his presence for this one?
Look, Dale Steyn is a big player, but the thing is, the South African team, anybody can walk in, he can cause damage. We've got Kyle Abbott on the sidelines. Yes, it's a big blow that we don't have Dale. Okay, he's a key player for us, but I think we still have a lot of depth within the Proteas team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And of course, Gary Kirsten, World Cup winning coach.
Yeah.
He's a very interesting addition to this match.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think his influence will help the Proteas in this match and for the rest of the tournament?
I think it's a good inclusion in the sense that, you know, like he's been there. He's coached a World Cup winning team before. I think it will help the boss. Never mind the World Cup aspects of Gary Kirsten. He's played for South Africa before. He knows what it is. And I think Gary, even though he's not a player, might want to correct the sins of 1999. Yes.
Okay. Obviously, a handful of Indian players have toured Australia just before the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
They're obviously a bit, more familiar to the conditions compared to our boys. Do you think that gives them an advantage over us?
Look, I don't think it gives them... Australian conditions are very similar to South Africans. So I think every time we go to South Africa, we might just as well be at home.
Yeah, the weather is similar.
Yeah, simple as that. I think the Indians were not convincing against the Australians. I mean, they struggled, especially again with the bounce, and it's always been the issue. Can the subcontinent teams handle the bounce. If the final is in Australia, I'm afraid.
India have not been consistent or well convincing as of late. I can't really actually pinpoint what the problem is myself. Is it surely it can't be still the hangover from the last World Cup?
No, Subs, I think India has a few problems with leadership at this stage. I think they're coming into MS Dhoni has a lot to prove as a leader.
You really think so?
No, or why I say it so because MS Dhoni quit Test cricket overnight, literally. You know, yes, he's still in the one-day setup, but there's almost this feeling that he has a lot to prove, that he still belongs where he is. So that's why I think so. I think there's a lot of strong characters in the Indian team. There's Virat Kohli, who's seen as a potential future leader. And if you know the Indians, if they support the one guy over the other one might find himself on the sidelines.
Yes. The Protea team, our batting lineup and our bowling seems intact. You know, everything just seems to be going. Everything just seems to be in place for the Proteas to go all the way.
Yeah.
Can you actually spot any downfalls in the Proteas game?
I think the Proteas are their biggest weakness themselves. If they get, I think that's one thing I can attribute to the performance against Zimbabwe is that the boys were not game time mode. You know, they said, okay, let's ease into this with Zimbabwe. Even though they realize that Zimbabwe is a test playing nation, but they were not quite in tune to the tournament. But if I may mention this, I read just before the World Cup, one of the critics for South Africa was their over-reliance on Hashim Amla and A.B. de Villiers. Guess what? That question answered. Flying colours. David Miller. I've always said I want to see David Miller play like he did. Brilliant, mate.
Yes, of course, also with JP doing it.
You know what? I'm glad for JP. JP, he's a quality. This is the difference with the current South African side. They don't have a player, he gets a whole lot of 50s and gets taken out. They get a player that said, listen, you are our player irrespective of what. And that's the difference that it's making with David Miller and JP Dumile because they belong.
Talking about David Miller, you know, he's a hard hitter. You know, when I see him, I think, well, okay, Chris Gayle, hard hitters. You know, what you get from hard hitters, what I picked up, they're not really consistent at times. He'll come in, smash a century. Next time he comes in, he gets bowled out for 20. But David seems to be consistent with his centuries, you know.
Look, I think the difference between David and the likes of Chris Gayle, for example, he doesn't just walk in and start swinging the bat. He walks in, plays himself in, plays a few cricket shots, builds up from there because he knows he can hit it hard. And in fact, I think he can hit it harder than Chris Gayle.
Let's talk before another day. You know? Okay, no, just before we close, of course, the prediction for this one, Mr. Maifala.
Ooh, this is going to be a tough one. Like I said to you, I don't know who to call. But a South African heart says, I want to see South Africa win. And I think South Africa can win if India bat first.
Okay, well, there you've got it. You know, that'll be it for this week. And make sure to catch the cricket. Thank you so much to my friend, Mr. Maifala. You know.
Thank you to you, Mr. Sabelo. As always, you can also catch Sabelo's opinion on Sports Planet every Friday coming out. So it's all going to be a great weekend. So I'm going to be living in 2 times.